Hey everybody, it's Josie. Welcome back to Cedar Creek Homestead. I hope you guys are having a good day. It is beautiful here in Oklahoma today. It's nice and warm, short sleeve weather outside. I've actually been outside working in the garden, getting some of the old stuff tore out and getting tomato cages and things moved out of the way because it's going to be time to till. And we're going to do our best to go with the ground cover this year that like what Living Traditions uses on their garden, and this will be new for us. We have used it before, but we've never covered our entire garden with it, and we're excited to try that out. We just simply really don't have a choice because gardening, as y'all know, is of the utmost importance this year. It's important every year, but with prices the way they are and everything in the world that going on today, gardening this year is going to be very important. And so we want to get that garden covered. We are constantly fighting with bindweed or morning glory, whatever you want to call it. Although it does have a really pretty flower on it, it just gets in and just climbs all over and takes over in our garden, and we don't want to fight that this year. We want to have the best harvest that we can have. Now, all that said, you're probably wondering why in the world I have these first aid products out here in front of me. Well, after I was out working on the garden and Papa was out sorting calves. Our load of spring calves are going to go off this Sunday evening and will be sold one day next week. So he was out sorting those, and the cow lot shares a fence with the garden. And so I had walked over there to take notes and write down what calves were being kept and what calves were going to the sale. And as usual, being my clumsy self, I stepped in a little hole and Papa didn't ever see me do it. If he did, he didn't act like he saw me. But I caught myself on the fence and was able to keep myself from going down. But in the process, I scratched my arm. Now that's not a major scratch. It does sting because it's on that real soft, sensitive skin of my inner arm there. But I wanted to make sure that I got it treated, because little scratches like this can cause a lot of problem if it was to get infected. Now, it's not something to run to the doctor for at this time because I have products to take care of it. But you know, in years past, in our history, down through history, a little scratch like this, a person could have lost their life over it because infection getting started and them not being able to take care of it. Now, that's one thing that I wanted to talk about today because of that little scratch. It kind of got me thinking. Right now, we're really big on, food supply and water supply, most important water supply, and all the shortages that are going on with the different products. And I know some of you are saying we're not seeing the shortages, and well, count your blessings in your part of the country if you're not seeing those shortages, because other areas are. But I'm going to tell you, beyond the food and water, first aid products are very important. You need to have them on hand so that you can take care of any kind of issues that you might have. And you know, the last 2 years when we had all of this sickness going on around the world and in our country, it got very hard to find peroxide and alcohol and hand sanitizer and those kind of things. And it became a challenge sometimes to get those things. Cleaners, things that would take care of germs and viruses and those kind of things. So you want to make sure that you keep up on your first aid supplies. Now, I've done a video on this before and other people have done videos, but it never hurts to revisit and re-encourage people to keep a supply of things on hand. And I thought that I would just go over a few things here now. Of course, alcohol and peroxide. Those are both really good cleaning out. Now I know this stings like crazy, but it is really good to have on hand and to take care of a lot of things. Peroxide will bubble out all dirt and debris, like if you fell or your kids fell and you got gravel in your knees or in your palms or whatever. This will help you. Now, you can use peroxide if you have a sore area in your mouth. You can put a little bit of peroxide in your mouth and swish it around, and it'll help. You don't want to swallow it, but you can put it in your mouth. Along with your alcohol and your peroxide, I like to keep witch hazel on hand. Now, I'm showing all these things to you today, and I'm not trying to promote any certain brand. These are just what I happen to have on hand. But I really like witch hazel. If you have any kind of little abrasions or little places on your skin, witch hazel is really good, in my opinion, to take care of that. I'm not a doctor or nurse or anything medical. I just know that I've had really good luck with taking care of some of those little places that have given me problems. Now something else, because I've been out in the garden today, I can tell by the way my skin feels on my face and my arms that I got a little bit of sun. And you always want to make sure, especially if you're fair-skinned like what I am, you want to make sure that you have a good sunscreen and use the sunscreen. I'm horrible about not putting on sunscreen. I don't like to have to wear it. I feel like I'm smothering, but I do know that I am really bad at being out in the sun for just a little while and I begin to burn. So you want to make sure that you keep sunscreen on hand. To go along with your sunscreen, you might have some stuff on hand for afterburn, like aloe vera gel, something that would be cooling to the skin that you could get on and get some relief if you do happen to get a burn. And we keep ours in the refrigerator. In the season that we get the most burns, we try to keep a little bottle in the refrigerator, and it's just nice and extra cooling when we have to use it. Of course, you want to have pain relievers. This is acetaminophen. You can also have ibuprofen and whatever your favorite pain medications are. Just know the restrictions on if you take prescription medications, anything that might work against your prescriptions. Know what you can take for all of that. And so pain medications, I have burn gels, and I have this burn spray. You can also use this on sunburns. We've tried this on Blade's Poison Ivy. It does say Poison Ivy on the can, and some of you might have had really good luck with this. This didn't really help Blade, but he had an incredibly bad go of it last time with Poison Ivy, and so he had to use some other things to take care of his. But if you know you have issues like that, you want to make sure that you've got stuff on hand, because even with Poison Ivy and insect bites, scratching can spread infection. Little kids, my Blade had a terrible infection of infantigo when he was little, from scratching from a bug bite. And my brothers had infantigo when they were little, and that's not something that you want to have to mess with, and you have to worry about infection and all that kind of stuff. So if you are one that suffers with that, or you bug bites, mosquito bites, tick bites, all of that, you want to have something that you can put on the skin for relief, because we may not always be able to run out to the doctor or even afford some of the costlier treatments, but if we get it taken care of on the front side, it might keep us from getting those infections and this more serious problems. So I told you the reason for this video today was that scratch that I got on my arm, and I did get that off of a fence. between the garden and the cow lot, and so you know what's out there, lots of manure and a rusty fence and all of that. So I will make sure that I, keep an eye on that scratch and keep it taken care of. So you always want to make sure that you have antibiotic ointments, and this was a 2-pack that I got, and it was pretty inexpensive, and so keep these things on hand so that you can take care of any kind of problems that you might have. You want to make sure that you've got some anti-itch creams for bug bites, for any kind of itchy stuff that you get into. You also want to keep some of the other for other instances that you would need those kind of creams for athlete's foot and jock itch and all other kind of issues that you might have. You might consider keeping some of that stuff on the on your shelf in your little pharmacy that you have, just so that you can take care of those things. Now, moving right along, you know how I am about this. Howie loved his, whoops, I'm showing you the back of it. Howie loved his Vicks, and we kept a good steady stream of it, and I've got quite a few of these bought up. That was something that he wanted to keep stocked, and so I've got a good stock of that, just to make sure that we're well covered. Along with that, I keep lip balms on hand to keep the lips moistened up. I hate getting windburn and chapped lips, and so I keep a good steady stream of this. Now, if worse comes to worse and you're having to work outside a whole lot more than you're used to, just depending on what comes in the future, you're going to need some chapstick, and you're going to need some things that's going to help you. If you go from an office setting to outside setting all the time, then you're going to need some chapstick. And I have quite a few of these on hand. A lot of us are going to be working in our gardens and doing extra things to make the budget stretch just a little bit further this year. And if you haven't been working in the garden for a while, you might come along with some aches and pains that you're not associated with, that you haven't experienced in a while, and you need to have a few things on hand. And I've got Tiger Balm, and I've got this Icy Hot Extra Strength, and I really like these Salon Paws. These are, if you've never had these actually stick to you like a bandage does, and it has the pain relieving cream in it, and or gel or whatever it is. Anyway, I really like these. Again, I'm not trying to sell any products. I'm just trying to say, have a few things on hand, whether it's Aspercreme, Bengay, Icy Hot. You might want to have a heating pad. I have a heating pad, but when you use things like this, don't use this and put a heating pad on, because you can burn yourself pretty bad. Now, Howie's family, they like those corn, they have bags that have corn in it, and they heat those in the microwave, and they really like those. So keep in mind your little sore muscles, that you might have to have something along with the pain relieving things. You might also consider Epsom salts. These are soaks. This one's a foot soak, and this one is just a soak. But you can get the big bags of Epsom salt. I think I picked these up for $1 a piece at the Dollar Tree. But you can get the big bags at Walmart or any place that you shop, and have Epsom salt on hand. You can use it for your sore and tired muscles. And you can also use, I would use the unscented, just the regular Epsom salts. You can use that in your garden, just this little sprinkle of that in with your plants. Sometimes will be beneficial to them. And something else for those of us that don't bounce back as quickly, and when we have bumps and bruises and aches and pains, you might keep these little ice bags on hand. Now, these were inexpensive. I know some of you are saying just put some ice in a Ziploc bag and put a towel on it. You can sure do that, and I've done that a lot. These are inexpensive, and you just take the cap off, put the ice inside of it, and put the cap back on it, and you've got an ice bag. Same with this one. This is just a little bitty one. And this was $1 at the Dollar Tree. I probably got this one at Walmart or some other place. But these are $1 at the Dollar Tree, or maybe $1.25 by now. I haven't been there in a long, long time. But get these little ice packs and keep them on hand, and to be able to help you out when you need a little bit of a soothing, or one of your babies needs an ouch pouch or something. You've got something to put on their little owie. So moving on, you want to make sure that you have got some ribbonies for your ears and your eyes. I failed to get my eye wash out here. I keep eye drops, and I also keep an eye wash in case you got something in and that wash needed to, wash the eye and cleanse it. I have those on hand, but I have failed to bring those out here, so pardon me for that. But make sure that you've got some eye drops and some things for your eyes. These are products that I have for earaches. These are just ear drops, homeopathic ear drops for the ears, and this is a sweet oil for the ear, and they both work really good. Now, if there's an infection, Blade was always really good with his ears when he was little. He never had one infection. But my little niece Stormy had horrible ear problems, and so did Cheyenne. Both of them had to have tubes put in their ears. So anytime that it goes beyond just a small earache, you probably are looking at getting the doctor involved and getting that ear infection taken care of. I don't know about you guys, but earaches and toothaches are miserable. So you want to make sure that you keep something on hand for the little problems, for the first aid care before you can get in to see the doctor. So here I have just a collection of gauzes and Band-Aids, non-stick pads, butterfly closures, and I have quite a bit of bandages and things like that around the house. I keep those because here on the farm it seems like we're always getting little cuts and scrapes and things that need to be taken care of. And Howie, after he had open heart surgery, some of the medication he was on, if he would get a cut, he would just bleed and bleed and bleed. And so it was important for us to have these kind of things on hand so that we could take care of that. And they're relatively inexpensive. You can get this brand at Dollar Tree, and maybe not these exact products, but I know you can get these bandages at the Dollar Tree for $1, $1.25. Also get them at any other Walmart, other places. So get you a collection of bandages and gauzes. Get yours some non-stick pads so that you can take care of those cuts and scrapes, and make sure that you keep them clean. I like to have these little rolls of cotton pads, and you can also get these at Dollar Tree, Walmart, anywhere. You can use them, cotton rounds. Sometimes people use them for makeup removal. I use them when I'm applying that witch hazel, but you can use these for a multitude of things. And I will tell you, I don't know if I've shared this shared this with you before, but these are really easy for me to use. But if you set a bag of cotton balls in front of me, I would have a horrible time. There is something about a cotton ball that just sets me on edge. I hate the thought of even digging the cotton out of a pill bottle. So these, I prefer keeping these on hand, but you are welcome to keep cotton balls. I have cotton balls, but I'll reach for these a lot of times before I ever would a cotton ball. So have something like that on hand. For your toes, and these are toe bandages, and you can use them just like this. You can cut them to fit your toes. If you need a little piece, or you need a little bit bigger piece. You can see that there are two different sizes. This is a bigger size here. And so you use these if you have something going on in one of your toes and you need to separate it. If you need to keep the separation between the toes, don't separate the toe, but maybe a separation between the two toes so that one can heal. Things like this is good to have. Also, things for blisters. Make sure that you take really, really good care of your feet. If you're diabetic or, any kind of injury to your foot, you have to make sure that you take care of it so that you don't get any kind of infection in it. Stepping on a nail, getting a scratch, anything, getting a splinter in your foot, having an ingrown toenail, anything can cause problems. So have some things that you can use to take care of your feet. Along with that, make sure that you have some things for your stomach. Maybe you have a problem with the gas, or maybe you're having a nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and you need to get that taken care of. And so you might think about Imodium or Pepto-Bismol or Kaopectate, some things that are going to alleviate that. On the same lines, you might have problems and need something to take care of constipation or problems like that. So make sure that you have some things that are going to address some of the issues that you might have in the future, and it would be a good thing to have those things before we can't find them. So another thing that I like to have on hand is these big packages of washcloths, and I get these at Walmart, but you can get them at any big box store. I would say that you could probably get them from local stores too, but they probably aren't going to be quite as big of a package. But I like them because you can use these to grab up and start taking care of an emergency that someone has, and these can be bleached and reused. Also, in a situation where we couldn't get supplies, you can make bandages out of sheets. One more thing I forgot to mention was these little rolls here. When you go to give blood or you have lab work and they draw blood, and they usually put that little cotton pad on, and they wrap it with the gauze type material that is stretchy and sticks back on itself. That's what this is. And I keep a stack of this on hand because we use it. And I'll tell you where I get mine. I get mine at the where I get mine at Tractor Supply. And you go back to where they have supplies for the horses, and they'll have this. And you can tell I got mine from a Tractor Supply or other store because this one has chickens on it and this one has pigs on it, and I think I have another one that has cows. But to use this, you would put that you would clean your wound, cover it, and then you would take this, wrap around it, and it stretches, and you stretch it around that, and then it sticks back on itself. And then it's able to keep that area, hold that bandage on, and keep it relatively clean until you need to change the bandage the next time. That's a sample of my first aid supplies. I hope you guys have been working on your first aid supplies a lot, right along with your food and your water, and that you have a good amount of stuff that can be used in the event of an emergency. You can take care of you, your family, or someone around you that might need a little bit of extra attention. Until next time, guys, this is Josie. I love you. I really do. We're gone.